Do you guys like graphic design? I like it when the lines go like this. They go swoosh. And everybody in middle management, they go, I love it, Stephanie, keep it coming. And then you get promoted to senior graphic designer. And then what's there left to do in life? You're already senior and you're 30 years old. I used to want to do graphic design for my career because I thought it was art. But then I realized it's not art and Stephanie is living a lie. I also realized that they don't make any money. And then finally I realized that I'm only okay at it. Or maybe even bad at it. And I shouldn't try to base my life on things that I'm only okay at. Also, I hate graphic design. So instead, I will share with you the only use I've found for graphic design. All other uses are deep state psyops unless you're using it the way I am using it. No other uses are acceptable. I'm using graphic design to finish my independent video game, Blind Town, and I'll show you what I mean, but first, I have to talk about scope creep. This is the inevitable scope creep video where I talk about how making a game on your own is hard, and also adding things gets out of hand, and then all of a sudden you've been working on one project for 5 years with nothing to show because you started adding all these features that were out of scope. So let's revisit my initial proposition for the game, 3 zones with their dungeons attached. Okay, so probably scratch these zones. This is just going to be dungeons with a central hub. There may be small zones, but in general, I just don't really have the time. But in order to craft these zones, I need to know how my character is going to move around. And I've put a lot of thought into that. But in order to know how he's going to move around, I have to stop adding features to how he moves around. So what do I turn to? I turn to graphic design. I turn to Stephanie. So in order to cap myself, I have completed a pause menu. And other than adding buttons for saving, maybe a settings menu, this pause menu will not be touched until I have a demo out the door. Also, I need the pause menu for saving and loading, and that's going to come really soon. So here it is in all its glory. You can move around with the selector here, whether that's on gamepad or on your keyboard. Don't listen to Stephanie, this is good graphic design. Everything here has an associated thought describing it, but I will run through it. You know, we've got health, balloons, mark shards, all that goes up in the status up here. I'm not really sure if I should call them mark shards or pieces of mark. I kind of think pieces of mark plays on pieces of heart from Zelda a little too much, but either way, they're the currency. And the currency has lore implications too, because when you're down in and around Blind Town, marks change you from what you were to what you'll become. And so you play as what you were. And everyone else in and around Blind Town is what you'll become. But I don't want to spoil too much. And at the bottom here, we've got our tools. You will notice there is one missing at the bottom of tools. Those are the star shoes. Think Pegasus boots in 3D. But you've got the hammer, the baby, the node. I'm not going to describe all these because eventually I'd like you to play the game and see how they work. But then comes my favorite mechanic, right here, marks. With marks, you can augment abilities and attributes about our little boy here by equipping them on mark hooks. You'll be able to gain more of these slots, just like you can gain more BP in Paper Mario, or in Hollow Knight you can gain more slots for your charms. So think of this like Paper Mario badges and then let your mind run wild. Some ideas include Balloon Bomb, where all balloons explode on pop, or Heavy Heart, where your health is increased by 1 and your max balloons are decreased by 1. They aren't all fleshed out yet, and really they don't have to be, but as you can see, the greed mark has been retrieved there at the top left. And so with these things in place, I will finish the game, because I can't add any more abilities or augmentations outside of this framework. So if you want to finish your project, whether it's a game, or a book, or a problem child in your local neighborhood, make some constraints and stick to them, or you will never finish. And with that, I will sign off. Subscribe to the channel.